call Julie Ann Genter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tēnā koe. Tēnā koutou e te whare. I'm very pleased to take a call to discuss the jury service and protection of particulars of Jury List Information Amendment Act, which the Green Party will be supporting. I haven't, like the Honourable Leanne Dalziel, Dennis O'Rourke and the other Labour colleagues of mine on the Justice and Electoral Select Committee. I was not on the Select Committee when this legislation was first introduced, and I believe this is my first opportunity to speak on this bill. So if I could just make a broader statement, then hone in on the sections in Part 2, in particular this interesting debate on the supplementary order papers relating to the age of 65 and over. So I think jury service represents an essential element of participation in civil society, and it's really important to have a cross-section of our community come together to ascertain matters of fact in a trial. And it's really in the spirit of inclusiveness and diversity within democracy that we ought to aspire to at every turn. The core provisions of this bill especially Part 1, are predominantly positive and reasonable, and they seek to enhance the jury system's integrity, to improve the administration of the jury system, and to reduce stress on people with chronic health, permanent disability, and those who are over the age of 65. And the first two elements regarding integrity and administration dealt with in the first part of the bill. Clause 4, amending the Principal Act, provides for the disqualification of jury service for a person who at any time within the preceding 5 years had been sentenced to a period of home detention of 3 months or longer. Clause 8 follows this up by inserting the new Section 14D, which grants the registrar discretion to defer the appearance of a juror who is serving a sentence of home detention less than 3 months until after that person has ceased to be subject to that sentence. And that seems like a sensible idea. While it's really not conducive to democratic principles to exclude people arbitrarily from institutions where they can participate in society, such as the exclusion of prisoners from voting, which we find very troubling, neither does it us any good to ignore that the appearance of people serving a sentence for criminal behaviour does not positively contribute to the integrity of the jury system. Now, I'll get to the subject of the debate, which I've listened to with quite a good deal of interest this afternoon. While I have quite a bit of sympathy for Dennis O'Rourke and indeed the members of the committee who submitted a minority report about any appearance of ageism or any appearance of the state to be saying to people over the age of 65, you aren't welcome to serve on juries. I also have a great deal of sympathy for what the minister has said here today, and I think it makes a good deal of sense. It's really hard for me to understand how it is that allowing people over the age of 65, which is the age of national superannuation and, as the minister pointed out, the super gold card, the opportunity to decline just once as opposed to having to decline every time if they felt themselves not up to the task of attending, and probably not for mental reasons. I guess I'll bring in some personal experience. I have 3 living grandparents. 2 of them are 88 years old and 1 is 90. They all live at home alone. They're all fully independent, and they're all very bright people who I love talking politics with. They're wonderful people, and I have a great deal of respect for them, and I have no doubt that at this point in their lives that they would find it physically very onerous to have to serve on a jury, and I don't think that they would want to take up that request if it were sent to them now. And given that it's now been sort of 88, so it's been a good deal of time that they would have been receiving requests to serve on a jury, and I think that it's perfectly sensible and reasonable to allow them that choice if they don't feel themselves physically up to it. And I don't think it's ageist to recognize that there are different stages of life And while it's true that there might be somebody for health or disability or other reasons may not be physically up to serving on a jury at the age of 50, the chances that someone won't be up to it significantly increase as time goes by, and we have to have an age at some point. But the critical thing is that this bill, and particularly with the addition of the supplementary order paper number 94, Mr. Chair.
Julie Ann Genter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That was introduced by the Minister today, that these people will have the choice. No one's saying if you're over 65 you shouldn't take up jury service. It's just that if you feel that you're not up to it, you have the option to decline. And thanks to this supplementary order paper 94, which the Green Party will be supporting. And I thank the Minister for her kind comments and for taking it up. The points made by my colleague David Clendon on the second reading of the bill, that they would also have the choice to revisit that decision that they made at some point to decline the invitation to serve on a jury. They could change their mind if they were finding themselves in different circumstances later. So while I completely hear the comments of the Honourable Leanne Dalziel and Dennis O'Rourke that we don't want to be ageist and we don't want to exclude people over the age of 65 from participating in this incredibly important democratic institution, neither do we want to. I just can't see the harm in allowing people the choice to decline once as opposed to having to decline multiple times. And ultimately, the cutoff is always going to be somewhat arbitrary, and I think linking it to the age of if there isn't this provision, then that means that that people in the state that my grandparents are in might not find it as easy as they would otherwise to decline an invitation to serve on a jury. So I just don't see what the big drama is, to be honest. I think giving people choice, acknowledging those different stages of life and respecting our elders, I think this is totally in line with all of those principles. So I really don't see what the problem is, Mr. Chair, and the Green Party is quite happy to support the Minister's supplementary order papers. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Call Jackie Dean.
In speaking to the jury service and protection of particulars of jury list